Hello, everybody. This is Adina,
And this is Andrea.
and we are both from Emma, where we're trying and achieving to make people happier at their workplace. This is our mission. We are doing weekly Q&A under the concept Date Your Job every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. UK time. So feel free to join. There are free. There are for everybody, and one of the things that we're asking people when they submit the form to receive the Zoom link is to answer to some question. So today we want to address this question, and we hope it will help everybody. The question, the answer, and the points somebody made. When they said what did they trying to do to prevent burnout, hobbies, downtime, self-compassion, asking for help, pacing themselves. They were successful in the past, but not now. And one of the main difficulties to succeed is time, demands, and pride. And the triggers experienced in the corporate environment are perceived expectation of others, which is very common, and encouragement to do more with less, which again is very common for any corporation. So first of all, I want to congratulate the person for trying so many things. I think there are all amazing ideas, hobbies. Do something where you don't need to perform or to achieve anything. Downtime, I will suggest for everybody to find a way to recharge. It can be sleeping, it can be art therapy, it can be anything that makes you happy. For me, walking works, and I need to recharge myself regularly. I need to go to the seaside to see the sea and charge. It's just something that my body feels the need. And when I'm there, even when I'm driving towards the destination and it's 1 hour, I'm relaxing and I'm going, I'm walking, I'm taking maybe a dinner or something, look at the sea, hopefully a sunset. I love sunsets. And that's my part to recharge. So I hope everybody has something that they know when they do it, they're in the flow. They don't need to do anything, they're happy and they feel much more energized after, or calmer if they are overwhelmed. Self-compassion, amazing. It's something that I love, even the definition of self-compassion. You are loving towards yourself, and then you can spread to others, asking for help and taking it slow. But the things that don't work, it's the time, demands, and pride. What I love most about is this pride, and I want to talk a little more about it. I had the same, Andrea the same. We come from a culture where you cannot be last. Usually, it's not even good to be on the first three position. You should be the first, and it's very very competitive. So we were raised in a culture where you always need to demonstrate you're the best, or you're trying to be the best, or you're doing. So if you come from school, and we had marked from 0 to 10, and we were given an 8 or 9, the question for the parents wasn't congrats. It was, why didn't you take 10? Why didn't you take the max? Where did you do a mistake? What didn't you know? Um, and most of the time there were 9 or 10s, because all of us, when we're small, we're trying to impress our parents and to make them happy, because this is how we receive love. So that's our language with them. And the question was who, and I was saying, well, maybe nobody had a 10. No, but if somebody had, who had it? And why did they? What did they do that you didn't do? So the effort put in wasn't actually congratulated or celebrated a lot of the times. So I was mostly on the second place. I even asked people to call me something else, because the girl who was on the first place had the same first name like me, which is funny, I know. So now I'm Adina. I was Simona then. My parents still know me as Simona, but I don't like competition. What do you mean the same name? No. But the point is, whatever you learn from childhood, you start and you continue to behave the same, because this is your currency to receive recognition, respect, money, position. And you think if you do a mistake, you're going to be seen differently. And for some people, it's the end of the world. To break this image that they think they need to maintain in front of the world. And it's so tiring, so tiring, to all the time perform at a certain level without even allowing yourself to make mistakes, which is one of the common thread. well, if I do a mistake, people will think this and this. Yeah, but what about you? What are you going to think about you? At the end of the day, you're the one living with yourself and you're the one taking yourself in different positions and different companies. So I'm going back to the self-compassion. Look at that and ask yourself, why is it so important to have this pride and to keep on it? What does it prove? Um, it's lovely saying in general in relationship when you have a fight, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Sometimes yes, it makes sense to be right, but most of the time people have different opinion and arguments, so negotiation and all that. So maybe negotiate with yourself, know your values, know what you want, and take it from there. And give yourself time, give yourself space to make mistakes. I learned the hard way. I'm competing with myself. Am I better than yesterday? Yes, most of the time. Sometimes no. Am I still doing mistakes? Yes. Do I still love myself even if I do the mistakes? Yes, not all the time. Sometimes I don't like myself, but I'm trying. I'm still trying. I'm not sitting in a corner and, giving up. So, and this comes hand in hand with one of the triggers, it's a perceived expectation of others. Maybe start with yourself. How do you think about yourself? And there is another thing with perceived expectation of others, which is so good. Do you consider them so, do you respect their opinion so well, and are they so achieved in their job and in their life that there is something that gives them authority in front of you? Because I realized in a lot of situation, I was getting upset because I was listening somebody I was placing in a place of authority without even going through my own filter to understand if it's applicable to me or to actually think, is this person that do they know enough about me to have an objective opinion or something that is applicable to me? And again, the perception that other people have about us can only be done through their own lenses. So whatever is happening inside themselves, how happy they are or they are not, or how experienced they are, or how evolved they are spiritually, pragmatically from money point of view, that's how they are going to judge you. So be careful about who are you looking up at. I think it's important for all of us to make sure we're not children anymore, although we react. Some of us are adults in we are children in adults' clothes. But we're not children anymore. We are the one who are living the life, who are experiencing the life, who are taking the decision, the bad and good, all of us, because we're the one experiencing this life. So we will love to talk more in details about that. I really love the answer to the question. So thank you for that and the openness to share with us. What about you, Andrea? What do you think?
Well, like you said, there are some, if you ask me, there are some limiting beliefs at work there that were formed in childhood. Um, I work with hypnosis on that with clients because it's important to find the root cause of these limiting beliefs because they limit us in the end. And it's very important to realize we created them, so we have the power to let them go. It's a process, but it can be done. There are other ways to do it. So if you really want to work on them, you can. And it is possible. So don't give up. I want to address a little bit the second comment you had about doing more with less. And it's funny because I started to write an article on this, and I will publish it soon on LinkedIn. Exactly that mindset, which it's actually I search it on Google. It's it's first being used in architecture and interior design to give this sensation of simplicity and elegance. It has nothing to do with corporate work, but it has been borrowed from there to create a concept that does not really exist. It's interior design, yes, it makes for a bigger space when there are less objects in it. And for me personally, it's like a war episode. Like you had one chicken, if you had one chicken, so there was a scarcity of food, and you had to feed 12 people. So you made it seem larger than it was by chopping and my big small bits. So that is doing more or less, feeding more people with less food. That's in my mind, the this image. We have this image of that word have in our heads. So it's total nonsense in the corporate environment because you have a number of resources and you allocate those resources to do tasks. And it's very mathematical. So there are numbers behind it. Corporate loves numbers. So you cannot do more work with less resources because the math does not add up. What you can in the long run is use more experience and more knowledge to do things in less time. Uh, and that this is why some people hire more experienced workers. They pay them more because they can actually do more. Not everybody can, and there are finite resources, finite time, finite tasks. But can they get away with it? Yes. Why not? Because they stretch the resources thin, and the payment, the cost, is your emotional well-being. And this is where boundaries kick in, and saying no, and how you position yourself within your team, within your work, within your company. How do you negotiate your value, and how do you set up your non-negotiable values as boundaries to define those resources? So again, it's something that is up to you. Up to a certain point, of course, you have toxic environments, you have managers who don't listen, but you set up your own limits. Nobody does that for you. Do they take advantage of you having no boundaries? That's a definite yes. Will they ask more and more of you? Always. At the end of the day, it's economics. It pays to do more with less. At the end of the day, there are, dollar signs at the end of uh, uh, the column there. And people, for various reasons, and I was one of them, Adina was one of them, so we've been there, done that, get caught in this game of trying to prove themselves, to trying to demonstrate how good they are, and they go to their limit, they give it all because it's important. We care about our work, we're passionate about what we're doing. We want to prove how smart we are, how organized, how good we are, in essence. Then that could come from our childhood as well, from school, from culture, from everything. And from being good at your work, there is pride in that. There is a sense of validation, and it's good entitlement. So everybody wants to have that because it makes you feel good. Think about the cost. And again, we can work on boundaries with that, setting them up, enforcing them, committing to them, communicating them. How many projects you can have before you burn out? For me, the number was a lot. For some people, less. It doesn't matter. You still get into burnout. Doing more or less resources leads to burnout. Stress, overwhelm, so there is a process, leads to burnout. The cost is your health. Companies understand that. They don't advertise it, but they do understand it. So how do you negotiate that? And there is a way to do that with you being empowered. Small steps first. Start saying no to some things. Start saying no to overtime. Not always, not from first, but start taking more breaks. That's the smaller steps for you to be confident enough that you're still doing your work but you're also protecting your well-being and your health. And we have a lot of programs with that because our passion is burnout. So stay tuned and get in touch if you want to know more. Hope this helps. See you
Hope this
soon.
helped. Bye.
Bye.